Alrighty, folks, we have the amazing TYLG. I always mess up the last name. Say it for us one time.
Ty Leon Guerrero. And I got to say, Michael, that's the whole reason why it's TYLG, because I'm the guy with the longest last name. So I purposely have the shortest handle, the shortest email. You can imagine since a kid showing up to school, checking into a hotel, other than the bank knows me when I come in, not because I'm a big shot, but the bank recognizes me. But everywhere else, I'm explaining myself.
You and I have been, friends for 5, 6, 7 years now, and I practice that, and I still stumble. I still stumble.
I love it. I love it. It's a good story. It's my story. So
there you go. There you go. Well, hey, one of the things I wanted to have a conversation with you about is mindset. And I know back in the day, we're talking late 80s, you were already on the mindset, right? You were looking at Tony Robbins and other legends of the game. So I want to go back and remind folks how important it was to you, because I think that foundation set you on the amazing career you've had. So I want to remind people what you were doing. And then I want to correlate it to something that happened to me yesterday.
Ooh.
Yesterday was game changing. But let's go back and revisit Ty, the young man. You had a lawn care business. You meet this guy. He tells you to read a couple of books, and that sets you on a career that's made you a multimillionaire. But go back to the beginning and talk about that.
It's funny that I can't remember ever finishing a book in high school or junior high. Actually, cover to cover, reading or finishing a book. So I'm like the anti, like, reading skills and all of that. And it wasn't until I met a young multimillionaire that said, leaders are readers. And really today, what that means is leaders are learners, people that are constantly learning and growing. And so, and this is interesting too, Michael, because there were no audiobooks in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And for me, when I went and got a book, there wasn't even necessarily a local bookstore, but, you'd go buy a book, spending $20-$30 for a book, $40 for a book. That was a significant investment. And audio programs, Nightingale Conant, which I learned about later, which you could listen to cassettes or CDs. It was, those were $300, $400, $500, which basically would be like 25% of my monthly income, you know? So, but I early on knew, okay, learning and earning are connected. Learning and earning. Yeah. Those are connected. Leaders are readers, learning and earning.
And the key for me in your early years, and why this bolt of lightning hit me yesterday, is you were actively seeking healthy information that would improve you moving forward, right? It would take you from where you are to where you want to go. I mean, that's why you were spending money and time, right?
100%. And I was desperate. Yes. I was a street kid, unhappy with what my life was, and said, I want something else. So I was desperate, man. That's why I was so hungry. And I think for a lot of people, even right now, my hunger is stirred up again. So I want to hear about what happened to you yesterday, the mindset and your thoughts on mindset.
Yeah. So again, you, Adrian Hernandez, Jason Pritchard, all millionaires, multimillionaires, all I consider more successful than me. All of you have mindset, right? That's your thing, right? Obviously you do a lot more than that, but that's where it starts, in my opinion. If somebody were going to ask me how you guys got started, you got your mindset right first. You seeked information, and then you took educated action. That's how all three of you started. So I'm talking to Jason Pritchard yesterday for our bi-weekly call, and it comes out of left field like a baseball bat hitting me, that we all have something that is either an asset or a liability. Now, this is interesting because Robert Kiyosaki kind of said, hey, your home's not an asset, it's a liability. And that was a big shift for people. I want to take that idea and bring it to something that all of us have. Every single human being alive with a social media feed has this today. Your social media feed on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever it is, whatever you have, and you probably have multiple, your feed is either feeding you, it's an asset, or it's distracting you, and it's a liability. It is that simple. I now believe everyone's social media feed is either an asset or a liability. And here's the deal. These things are algorithms. They will feed you what you want. If you want liability, it will feed you liability.
Yep.
If you want asset, it will feed you asset. Folks, own your shit. Your feed is your feed. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what hit me yesterday. It was like, oh my God, we're doing this all wrong.
So spot on. I mean, it's interesting that every time I'm on social media as a consumer, I'm constantly going, okay, this doesn't serve me, unfollow, unfollow. Oh, I really like this. This is cool. Follow. This is inspirational. Yeah. Why does this guy keep popping up, or this gal, they keep popping up in my feed, and they've got great content and it gives me a boost. I'm going to follow them. But I think for sure the whole idea of guarding the gates, the gates of your mindset, so important.
Yeah, and again, so again, like I said, this hit me the other day, and so I've been trying to grow a Twitter following, right? It's now 3,000 or 3,400 from zero, right? I didn't have a Twitter page, I don't know, 6 months ago. So one of the things that I was doing is I was following a couple of Twitter famous people, Twitter famous, 25,000, 30,000, 40,000.
Yep.
But they're doomers. Every single post is negative and bad and frankly wrong lots of times. I have now come to appreciate because of this that I need to block them. And you know what? I started this like 3 days ago. My Twitter feed is 100 times better 3 days later. So folks, if your Twitter feed or YouTube feed or Instagram feed sucks and is full of doom, look in the mirror. It changes quickly. The algorithm is there to keep you on the app. If you tell it you want doom, it will feed you doom. If you want movers and groovers and people that are being positive, it'll give you that. I promise you. It's amazing, but we got to own it, man. I now have a personal goal of blocking 2 doomers a day. 2 doomers get blocked a day. Just got to do it, man. Just got to do it.
Spot on. So spot on. And I think too that it's interesting. I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, that epiphany moment. Yeah. And there was this guy that like, he would pop up in my feed. He's kind of like a fitness guy. And I generally kind of like, I don't like him. He's arrogant or something, kind of that kind of a thing. Right. And then I'm like, for some reason yesterday, I'm looking at it and I kind of like, oh, I like what he said there. And I like what he said there. And then I talked to a buddy of mine and they know each other. And he starts telling me like, oh, this guy's great. You'll love him and all this. But it was interesting. It wasn't so much. This is an interesting thing, Michael. It wasn't so much about him. It was about me. And that because I wasn't going to the gym, I was feeling like a little bit of like guilt or just like not on track, but so buried. And then all of a sudden, like, I love where we're at. The 4th of July, it's the mid-year, it's halftime this weekend or this holiday. For me, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to recommit to my body. I'm going to recommit to fitness. I'm going to recommit to health. I'm going to recommit to getting in shape and getting myself to an elevated level of energy. And all of a sudden, this guy shows up again. And I'm like, interesting. So I think you have to have an open mind. And I want to share that with people because all of a sudden now I'm like, this guy's really on point. I really like this guy. Now I'm following him and 2 or 3 of his friends. And like, I probably watched 10 hours of his stuff over the probably last 24 hours of YouTube and that. But it's interesting how that changes and shifts. And so for sure, you've got to stay away from the things that are not feeding you. And so spot on. You've got to like double down on the right stuff, the right mindset stuff.
Yeah. And then let's just hit this last point, because if I hear this excuse one more time, I'm going to pull my hair out. But Michael, I listen to them in my feed because I want to get the opposite side. I want to have a balanced opinion. Folks, if they are truly doomers, they don't give a rat's ass about you. If every post, every video is negative, you don't need that. I will tell you when things are bad. People on my channel will tell you about losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. We will have hard conversations, but we will always try to end with, where's the silver lining? You don't need doom. If you watch one, like you have this big pitcher of iced tea and you just put a spoonful of gasoline or oil or poison, are you going to drink that? That's what you're doing to your mind. Block doomers.
100%. Couldn't, like, especially with, we're at such an interesting time in that you have to have the right information. And I've got to say that you do the deep dive of looking at all the different angles. But the thing about the doomers is they're so fixated because of the clickbait. They're so fixated and so deep down.
They're addicted to the revenue. That's what they are.
They're making money because of the clicks and because the negative news sells, and that's it. And so you've got to stay away. Like, you've got to understand that a lot of the stuff that's out there, even though you may think it's posed, it's labeled and looks like it's supposed to be informative, news, education, but the truth is it's shock jock. It's all about entertainment. It's all entertainment value. And even then it's negative entertainment, right? Like, so 100%, Michael, I couldn't agree with you more.
Do me a favor, Ty, where can people find you? Because you put out amazing stuff all the time.
I love it. So Instagram, I am TY_LG, TY_LG. If you have questions, if I can be of help, if people in Fresno, we're building the hub. We're doing a lot of things to move it forward. We want to get proactive real estate professionals, realtors, even like we got a great loan officer there now. We're looking to expand with people in the Fresno, Madera, greater market. If you want to plug into the hub, reach out, ty@tylg.com, ty@tylg.com. I respond to email the way other people respond to text messages. And the reason why is because I can organize it. I can send you links. I can easily send you calendars, things of that nature. So, man, love what we're doing in the community.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.